Good morning, students. Today I am going to discuss argumentative essay. An argumentative composition is one in which you are required to put forward your ideas and opinions on a controversial subject. It should consist of a central theme developed to an inevitable conclusion. First of all, decide what to say in the conclusion and then plan your arguments. Leading up to conclusion. The subject may contain the words like discussion, a statement or a quotation in which you are expected to consider both sides of the theme. Now, the topic which we are going to discuss today is rural transformation is possible only through joint strategy of population control and eradication of illiteracy. Rural transformation is a proactive and a positive process of change and development of rural communities. It is possible if we put together a plan of action which on one hand controls the population and on the other makes the people educated. How can that happen? That is the question. If people are educated, they will definitely understand the value of population control. They would understand as to why we should control population so that we have ample natural resources, and to use these natural resources we need education. Not only this, if we want that villages should progress, an upliftment to the small scale and cottage industries is also required. If we want the villagers to be educated, the education system should also improve. Number of schools should increase, education should improve, and people should be encouraged or motivated to send their children to schools so that they get best education in life. Being an argumentative topic, first of all, I am going to discuss the for the motion. India is a country of villages, while only 30% of population resides, means lives in cities. 70% of population resides in villages. The rural areas thus occupies a place of great importance in the country. Even Mahatma Gandhi, father of the nation, said, "The future of India lies in its villages." Since the dawn, that is the beginning of the period of time of independence, the condition of villages have changed. But still we have to go a long way. Rural areas in India are still plagued, causing continual problem by many problems. But the two most important problems that needs urgent address are illiteracy and population. So, if we can say that rural transformation is possible only by the joint strategy of population control and eradication of literacy, it's not wrong. Pearls means serious or immediate danger of life are mostly faced by rural population because of lack of social, political and economic consciousness. Now, what is economic consciousness? The state of being aware of and responsible to one's surrounding, which is a result of illiteracy. The greatest problem in our villages is that of illiteracy. According to socio-economic and caste census 2011, over one third of the Indian population living in rural areas is illiterate even after 68 years of independence. We must not forget that illiteracy affects all areas of life. Those with low literacy skills are far more likely to live in poverty, face health problems because they can't read prescriptions given by the doctors or instructions, and grow isolated. Isolated means far away from other places in a world. Increasingly dependent on computers. Due to illiteracy, poor farmers are still the victims. People who are harmed of superstitions, irrational beliefs, and are still exploited means people benefit for them either overworking them or underpaying them by the money lenders, by the people who pay give them money on interest. Children in rural areas do not have access to proper schools, and it is quite possible that local literacy rate might not be high and migration to go from one place to another of educated to cities in search of jobs is inevitable, cannot be avoided. What is required is opening of primary and secondary schools with good infrastructure, good and hardworking teachers, and of course support from government and private sectors. Without discrimination of gender, everyone should get opportunity to go to school. Children should be motivated to study and teachers should be motivated to teach. Training of local village teachers over the weekends by nearby well established school could help improve the quality of education. Otherwise, the whole nation will face a huge challenge. Digital India and Make in India cannot happen in vacuum. We need action. The next most important problem in rural areas of our country is the problem of population. And the strategy of population control can come only with the eradication of literacy. Lack of education and ignorance contribute to a great extent in the rise of population. Hence, it is very important for every one of us to start working together. It is easy to sit in the comforts of a house and crib about the lack of literacy and population growth and criticizing the policies of government in power. Maybe if the educated class of the society start making efforts, things could really change. We have to work. The educated class has to work for the upliftment of the rural areas. Now, arguments against the motion. Rural development is a topic that is quite easy to understand but hard to implement. That means put a plan into action. It focuses upon the upliftment, lift up the development of the sections of rural economies that experience grave, that means serious, poverty, the state of being extremely poor, and effectively aims at developing their productivity, the effectiveness of productive power. We must not forget that 70% of India's population resides in village. As such, we need a change in attitude, a settled way of thinking. We have to consider the rural India an integral necessary to make it a fundamental unit, a part of India, and give it due importance. Joint strategies of population control and eradication, that is, the complete destruction of illiteracy, will definitely help in transforming the rural areas. But we must not forget that India has an aggregate economy. Therefore, the primary area to improve should be providing employment in rural areas and improving the productivity of agriculture sector. Often villages in our countries are not in synchronization. That means the operation or the activity of two or more things at the same time with the urban areas. Because of the urban and rural areas, joint strategies of population control and eradication can be helpful only when the infrastructure, that means a basic physical and organization structure of and facilities of rural areas, improve remarkably. Farming is a fabric, the basic structure of the society, and in many countries of the world like India, it is the main economic activity, the main potential, having or showing the capacity to develop into something in future. Contributions of farming and agriculture to rural development are in terms of supporting employment, the state of having paid workers, a healthy and dynamic, that means characterized by constant change, activity or progress. Agriculture sector is an important foundation and underlying basis of principles of rural development, generating, producing or creating strong linkage association to other economic sectors. Rural communities in India are still faced with challenges related to access, that means the means or the opportunity to approach or enter a place, to basic services and economic opportunities, investments in environmental protection, rural infrastructure, and in rural health are critical. They are adverse to sustainable, able to maintain at rural development and certain level or rate can enhance, increase, intensify nation's well-being. The vulnerabilities, that means a quality or state of being exposed to the possibility of being attacked or harmed, of the rural poor to the economic and financial crisis and to climatic change and water shortage. Now, what is water shortage? A situation in which something needed cannot be obtained in sufficient amount, must not be addressed. The success of rural development thus does not depend only on joint strategies of population control and eradication of literacy, but on developing and implementing or putting into effect comprehensive strategies as well. So, with this, I end the arguments for the motion and against the motion. Now, there is a vocabulary list attached to the video. Kindly go through it. It has got all the words with its meaning, which will help you in writing the essay. Homework. Attempt the essay given on page 133, specimen paper 8, question number 1, third part. Rural transformation is possible only through joint strategy of population control and eradication of literacy. Attempt grammar, question 3, A to C, specimen paper 11. Thank you and have a